Good day, Amherstburg. It's myself, Laura D'Alessandro.
And it's Ron Giofu from the Rivertown Times, back here on the airwaves of 107.9 CKBG The Berg for the Rivertown Times Week in Review.
I feel like our morning show here on Wednesdays has started with a weather report. I feel like we always kind of comment about the weather.
Exactly, yeah, just sunny or cloudy, or in this case, a winter storm or a winter weather advisory or whatever we got going on. It seems to be the our little icebreaker on the show.
Pun intended.
Bum.
Yeah, some not nice weather is supposed to be rolling in this afternoon and lasting throughout the night, and could be a treacherous drive home for some folks tonight, and for sure a commute tomorrow that could be a little unnerving. I know I have 3 kids at home that are anxiously waiting to see if the buses will be canceled in the morning, and allowing them a 5-day weekend because Friday's a PD day and Monday is family day. So I don't know if their little Christmas wishes and Valentine's dreams will come true, but they're gonna try.
I say make them hitchhike to school if the buses are canceled.
Right.
Because it's like,
come on now.
Back in my day.
Here we go.
We've all heard the old stories. When I was a kid, I had to walk 15 miles in the snow to get to school. So,
and that you did.
Back in my day, and a long, long ago.
One of my kids actually asked me if I lived in black and white. And I feel like that when you talk about your memories, that they're just, when you talk about your childhood, it's just to me as in black and white. Yeah,
it's like the first season of Gilligan's Island when you talk about, my childhood. Yeah.
No color.
Then eventually, color came around.
All right, turning our attention to the paper. The front page story for this week is Kids Curing Cancer. They held their largest fundraising event of the year out at Sprucewood Shores Estate Winery last Saturday night. With over 200 people in attendance, the dinner raised over $11,000.
Yeah, over 200 people packed Sprucewood Shores Estate Winery on Saturday night. And speaking of weather, it was not nice to drive out there. Mother Nature wasn't very kind for those of us on the way there. I mean, we had snow, slush, and other sloppy stuff. But hey, it's February in Canada. What are you going to do? So, but anyways, everyone made it, and everyone had a good time. And the family, they entertained everybody, and family and friends of the Blargeron family. And they're raising money to outfit the MRI suite at Erie Shores Healthcare in Leamington. They raised money for the MRI unit last year. They're helping out again. And I know folks from Erie Shores Healthcare Foundation, namely Executive Director Penny Bellhouse, was in attendance. And like I say, everyone had a great time, and all the money went for a good cause. I believe over $11,000 was raised at the dinner alone. All that said, there's still that's not all parts of the campaign. There's still a number of events. Like they have about 6 local schools signed up as of right now. They're helping to raise funds. South County Predators are helping to raise funds. They've teamed with the Spitfires. They got all kinds of local businesses. If I start listing them, I'm going to be in some trouble because there's just so many people helped out, and I know I'm going to miss people. So I tried to keep things general and just say, a big blanket thank you to everyone. It was a wonderful night and a wonderful cause. And I know Lauren, Ty, and Kirsten Blargeron are doing this for years. They were the kids of Kids Curing Cancer, and they still, with the help of their mom Jody, their dad Gary, and the whole family, they do a lot of work for this. But they're noting they're getting older. Like Lauren's 20 now, and Ty and Kirsten are about 15. And so to keep the kids in Kids Curing Cancer, that's how they involve the local schools. And the whole community turned out. They're very quick to point out it's more than just them. It's the entire community that supports them, and to raise the kind of money they did, it kind of shows that. Again, the overall fundraising total last year was over $41,000, dinner included, and they're trying to at least match that, if not top that, this year. So check out their social media sites. I know they're still doing some raffles. I know they got a really nice guitar they're raffling off. They got a William Nylander Toronto Maple Leafs jersey that they're raffling off.
Is it signed?
It is a signed William Nylander jersey. And I will say, make sure you buy your tickets for that. And that's coming from me. I'm a Habs fan. So, but still support a good cause. And again, Kids Curing Cancer, the big pasta dinner was last Saturday night. And great job by all who organized it. There's a lot of work behind the scenes that people don't see in an event like this. So, hey, congratulations to all of those who helped put it on, all the volunteers and everyone. Job well done.
Did they have any popcorn up for raffle that night, Ron?
They did, actually,
and you didn't win it?
I didn't put in for it. I was going to do it as a... I was going to see if I can keep my streak alive.
3 for 3.
Exactly. Actually, it'd be 4 for 4.
That's right, 4 for 4.
Yeah, because I won something recently at the Legion. But you know what? I've got enough popcorn in the house to, last me a couple decades. So
The rest of your life.
and so I'll let somebody else have a crack at it. At least I'll let somebody else have a pop at it if
That was marvelous.
that was just a terrible joke. So I apologize to all the listeners for that one.
Turn your attention. Town Council met on Monday evening. There wasn't too much on the agenda at this week's meeting. I know you were out in record time before 8 o'clock, so that was great. Topics that were discussed were the need for a sun-shade shelter in the parks and a new development coming out in Malden.
Yeah, that's the big story I covered out of the meeting was the shade structures. They got pricing for structures in Jack Purdy Park and in Briar Ridge Park. And in large part because of the pricing, which they had various different options. So there were 3 different options with various components in each. So overall, the prices range from about $90,000 to about $200,000. And council said, you know what, that's more of a want than a need. And they're not going to spend the money. They had a delegation from Linda Saxon, a local disability advocate. And they took some of her suggestions. They're going to look at a Toronto shade bylaw. They're going to possibly look at grant funding to get a new shade structure rather than just pay it 100% off the taxpayer's dime. And they're going to go the old-fashioned route, I guess you could say. They're going to plant some trees to get some shade in some of these playgrounds. And they're looking at some larger stock trees, ones that could provide shade a little bit quicker rather than just some of the smaller stock trees they have been planting. They're just... They want shade as soon as possible. So, like I say, they're going to go kind of the traditional route, plant some larger trees, and they want to see up to about 5 trees in each of the 2 parks and get some shade on the playgrounds that way.
This brought to mind the trees that are at the Libro Center. My son plays soccer up there in the summer, and there are about 4 trees in all the fields, and we all kind of migrate under this tiny little tree to get a little bit of shade. So the thought of maybe buying more mature trees that will spark growth a little bit faster is great. Is there bylaws requiring shade in parks? I
know that didn't really come up on Monday night. I know they have a tree bylaw. They try to plant 2 for 1 whenever they take one down. Oh. I know it takes a while. They talked about sometimes soil conditions vary throughout the town, so that can have an impact on trees and how they grow and how they're maintained and tended to. This is the year of the tree, actually, in the town of Amherstburg, and they are going to plant some more in some of our parks, and hopefully they grow a bit quicker and give some shade to some kids. And
parents.
And parents, and hopefully it doesn't take too long. Maybe today's kids won't be parents themselves by the time they get mature.
Yeah. And they can tell those stories. When I was a kid, that tree was as tall as me.
Exactly, yeah. And they did talk about the other issue that you mentioned was the possible development out in Malden Center. There was the possibility of another gas bar and convenience store. Of course, we already have one out there at Yuri's Country Kitchen. They've done a great job for years, but another one could be going across the road on County Road 50. So it sounded like the zoning bylaw amendment was kind of approved in principle. I know there was some concerns from members of council, and they're going to kind of take the approach of, wait for the site plan to come back and then maybe a final approval all in one package. So I know there's those questioning, how many gas bars is too many, and I'm sure there's others questioning, it's a free enterprise system, so set up shop wherever you want kind of thing. So it's definitely an issue that we've reported on before. I know it's a sensitive topic to some folks, and so we'll have definitely more on this story in a future issue, probably next week.
That intersection, too, it's quite busy, especially in the summertime, people heading down to Holiday Beach. So I could only imagine what bringing another gas station out to that little corner would mean. But thanks for keeping your eyes to that, Ron, and we look forward to whatever news comes out. You'll let us know.
Absolutely.
Parts of Amherstburg and Essex County still remain under a boil water advisory that's been in place since Monday.
Yeah, it's out in the McGregor area, so we've got a map in this week's RTT. We also have it on our website and our social media channels. It's more in the McGregor area. And of the area impacted, a large part is within the town of Essex. So it's Amherstburg, a small part of Essex, a small part of Tecumseh and LaSalle, along County Road 8, along Walker Road, and various side roads kind of in between there. It's on page 4 of this week's RTT. So make sure you check that out. And as of this broadcast, when we were in the studio, the boil water advisory was still in effect. It's been in effect since Monday afternoon when there was a water main break. And so keep your eyes on that. Keep your eyes on our social media. Keep your eyes on the The health unit issued the boil water advisory, so keep your eyes on their social media and their website, as well as the town of Amherstburg. As for future updates, we'll do our best to keep you in the loop. But as of right now, that boil water advisory for a portion of the McGregor area is still in effect. And again, check our page 4 of this week's RTT, our social media, and on our website for the exact proximity of where the boil water advisory is in effect for.
The Liberal Party has announced their candidate for MPP, Tamara Stomps, and she met with Fred Groves, our freelance reporter, and we have the full interview that Fred did with Tamara on page 6 of this week's paper.
Yeah, she's a former deputy mayor of Kingsville. She came close in the last mayoral race in Kingsville. She's thrown her hat in the ring for the Liberals. She joins a crowded field of candidates now. Of course, the incumbent, Anthony Liardi, is running for the PCs, NDPs. NDP has Rachel Mills, Green Party, Stephen Higgins, Ontario Party is Trevor Jacques. The none of the above candidate is Kevin Linfield, and the independent candidate is William Zabo Verzak. But Tamara Stomp is the Liberal candidate. We have a story on page 6 of this week's RTT of what her plans and goals are, so make sure you check that out. It's also on our website, www.rivertowntimes.com. And, of course, the provincial election is coming up very quickly. It's on February 27th, which seems right around the corner. I mean, it's a very short campaign window. So make sure you check it out, and make sure you check out the RTT for all pertinent campaign events.
2 local authors are featured in this week's issue of the Rivertown Times. Author K.G. Maselli is celebrating the release of her book, Tales of Texas Road. And he also met with author Kevin Jarvis. He's preparing for the launch of his 3rd book, The Spectacles of Jack McCarvey.
Yeah, both different themes. I know KG's book is on, there's a lot of tales about paranormal activity, haunted activity, even just plain weird activity out on parts of Texas Road.
On Bathurst Street?
No, that's my weird activity. In case you're wondering, I live in that area. But getting back to the book, it's all kinds of tales that people have experienced out in that area. So make sure you pick that up. I know River Bookshop is carrying that book, and it's available through Amazon. And it's I know she's doing various book signings in the area. She was just at Caffeine & Co. not too long ago, and she's kind of traveling around the region promoting the book. And I know Kevin Jarvis's book, it's a Christian fiction, The Spectacles of Jack McGarvey, and I know it's a story he's been working on for quite some time. He's had it in his mind, and he's finally put pen to paper, so to speak, or probably fingers to keyboard. He's written his new book, and that's due out soon if it's not already, and I'm sure it's going to be carried locally and through Amazon and Indigo and those type of sites. I know he's published it independently, and self-published, I should say, and both books, keep your eyes out for both. Some great local stories by some great local authors.
Black History Month continues, and the Amherstburg Freedom Museum, in partnership with the River Bookshop, held 2 events over the last weekend. Yeah,
author Craig Shreve presented The African Samurai. There was a discussion with River Bookshop seller Cindy Lemieux, and that was last Saturday afternoon. That was in the Nasri AME Church. And following that, everyone went over to into the museum building itself. The Artists of Color were celebrated the launch of their new exhibit. That's been going for a couple of weeks now, and the official opening was last Saturday. And that was we had some reenactments and some great educational components to the official opening. That runs through March 2nd, March number 2 at the Amherstburg Freedom Museum, 277 King Street. And again, that's in partnership with the River Bookshop, and that partnership continues this Friday night. The Windsor Symphony presents a concert in the Nasri AME Church. Tickets $35, available through WindsorSymphony.com. Celebrating Black Composers is the theme. The concert sponsored by bookshop owners Richard and Colleen Petty. And that's, again, this Friday night, Valentine's Day at 7 p.m. in the Nasri AME Church, a concert by the Windsor Symphony Orchestra. And that goes along with the Artists of Color exhibit, which continues inside the museum. And, of course, as I said, the book launch with The African Samurai. So it's been a busy month, and keep your eyes on www.amherstburgfreedom.org/BHM for all your Black History Month events.
They're also working in partnership with ACT, Arts Collective Theatre, and presenting The Price of Freedom. That's going to run from Friday, February 28th until March 2nd. They do have an ad in the paper with all the details. The ad is on page 2, so that's coming up at the end of the month.
And there's also a preview story on page 7. So
Perfect.
So we got full details in this week's RTT, both in the paper and online.
You were out last Friday night. The So-Called Social was held last Friday night out at GL Heritage Brewing Company. It was in support of the House Youth Centre in preparation for the coldest night of the year. The coldest night of the year is coming up on Saturday, February 22nd. Full story is on page 9. I know they had quite a good turnout.
They did. I was out there and took some photos and actually had a bite to eat while I was there. So it turned out to be a good night all around. They're making progress on the coldest night of the year. They're trying to raise $50,000 this year. I believe they're over 20%. I believe there was 23 or 24% last time I checked this morning. And you can still sign up as www.cnoy.org/Amherstburg. That's CNOY. It's short for coldest night of the year. .org/Amherstburg. You can sign up a team, you can sign up as a walker, or you can just make a donation. And if you can't make it on February 22nd, and then the walk heads off from the hub at 5 p.m., and if you can't make it that night, don't worry, you still have until March 31st to make a donation at that website address. If you want to volunteer, the website is very similar. It's the same cnoy.org, but this time it's /volunteer. Either way, you can sign up as a walker, sign up a team to make a donation, or sign up as a volunteer. And it's all money goes to the House Youth Centre. They're based at the hub at 320 Richmond Street. So registration starts about 4 o'clock on the 22nd. They have a march shortly thereafter. And about 5 o'clock, they head out. There's a 2K and a 5K. Everyone meets back at the hub. There's some chili from the Amherstburg Firefighters Association. And there's an after party at Shooters Roadhouse. Shooters is the main sponsor. They're not the only sponsor. They've got a lot of help from a lot of businesses. They are the title sponsor this year, and the after party after the event is back at Shooters.
Well, that's very exciting. Hopefully it's not too cold for the coldest night of the year. Moving on to sports, the Admirals clinched a big overtime win at home on Saturday night against the Dresden Kings. Saturday night marked their last home game of the regular season. They're going to finish off the season in Moortown on this Saturday.
Yeah, road game in Moortown against the Flags. And the Admirals are still fighting for playoff position. If we had more information on who they're playing in the playoffs, we'd tell you. But there's about a 4-team logjam kind of in the middle of the standings. I know Essex and Lakeshore have kind of pulled away a little bit, and they're likely going to take the top 2 seeds. Amherstburg, Blenheim, Moortown is in the mix. Wheatley's in the mix for the next 4 seeds. So it remains to be seen. They're kind of jockeying for a position. They're a very tight battle in the middle of the West Conference Staubs Division standings of the Provincial Junior Hockey League. And once that's all settled, we'll definitely let you know where and when the Admirals are playing round 1 of the playoffs and whether or not they have home ice. And I'm sure they're fighting for that. But they need to win in Moortown to, shore up their seeding and make sure they get the best one possible. Again, it was a nice come-from-behind effort last Saturday against the Dresden Kings, and they're looking to, take their winning ways on the road and win this Saturday night in Moortown.
We happened to be at the Libro Center. Luca was playing on Rink B. He ended just before the Admirals game did. And oh my gosh, to see that goal go in at the far end, the place went nuts. And what a great way to finish out the season at home for them. Regardless of what happens, hopefully there's more hockey to come for the Admirals. But, to go out like that, it was pretty cool. Yeah,
we'll have some playoff hockey for sure coming up here in Amherstburg. So keep your eyes and ears open for that. And details about opponents and dates, and will be coming soon.
Perfect. The Fighting Island Boxing Club participated in the 42 annual Brampton Cup and returned back home to Amherstburg with 5 medals.
A gold, 3 silver, and a bronze for the fighters from the Fighting Island Boxing Club. The organization is headed up by Joe LeBlanc and his team of coaches, and a lot of volunteer effort there, and a lot of dedication by these fighters. Full details on page 11 of this week's RTT. And like Joe was saying, it's great job by all the fighters, and he's quite proud of them, and rightly so. This is one of the smaller clubs. This is one of the smaller towns to have a boxing club. It was a huge event up in Brampton, 4 rings with 750 boxers. And again, to come home with 5 medals is quite impressive. So great job by the Amherstburg Fighting Island Boxing Club. Again, they're led by Joe LeBlanc. And the full list of fighters is on page 11 of this week's RTT, and also under the sports section of our website at www.rivertowntimes.com. Congratulations to all fighters, and every fighter there, whether they went to the Brampton Cup or not. I know they show a lot of dedication, put in a lot of effort. Congratulations to everyone at the FIBC. Nathan Malash was one of the fighters, Curtis Rialba, Corey Way, Dawson Waltz Raby, and I think I mentioned all of them, but again, that's Corey Way, Nathan Malash, Dawson Waltz Raby, Curtis Rialba, and Benny Vola. So I want to make sure I mention all 5 of the fighters that came home with medals. So they get their just due, and again, great job by the Fighting Island Boxing Club.
Do they offer senior boxing?
I don't know, I can ask for you.
Maybe you should check it out. That would be something worth watching. The North Star Wolves Sports, the girls hockey team has wrapped up the regular season play, turning their focus now to the playoffs, which start tonight.
Yeah, they have a game at 2 o'clock at the Libero Center. They play La Jeunesse. The girls are looking to advance. They played Tier 1 this season with an eye on these playoffs. When they come down to the AA playoffs, they're a little bit more battle-tested. They're more ready for the playoff hockey, and we'll be there to check it out this afternoon, 2 o'clock. So if you're listening to the replay of this at 4:30 p.m., the game will likely already be over unless it's like a quadruple overtime affair or something. Mm-hmm. But if you're listening to the noon broadcast, you can still check it out at 2 p.m. out at the Libero Center, North Star versus La Jeunesse. And that leads me into the boys' team. They played La Jeunesse on Monday in playoff action. The Wolves won 4-1 to advance. Next Tuesday, I just found out last night, they are in Lakeshore to battle the Bell River Nobles. The Bell River finished in first place, so North Star's got a little bit of a challenge coming up for them. But they're a young team. They battle hard, and I'm sure Coach Glenn Holden will have the team ready. So the boys are next Tuesday in Lakeshore against Bell River. The girls are today at 2 p.m. against La Jeunesse. WEX playoff hockey here for our North Star Wolves.
Senior boys basketball, they finally picked up a win in the season. It came at the end of the season when they won 81-32 against the Windsor Islamic Jaguars.
Yeah, they didn't make the playoffs. Obviously, they finished 1-8, so it was a tough year. They had some close games, but had some trouble finishing the deal earlier in the year. And that's why the season ending is ended a bit more prematurely than they thought it would when they started. They finished 1-8, but again, that one win came last week, and they went out on a winning note. They're able to send their seniors off with a victory on their home court, so that was nice to see. And I got a nice photo on page 15, if I do say so myself, of Isaiah Rosenstrom dunking. So I'm actually kind of proud of that. And I know if Isaiah wants to check out the picture of him dunking, it's on in the paper this week. Of course, we have photos on our social media, and great job by the Wolves. And unfortunately, it was another season ended on Monday afternoon. Senior girls volleyball, they met with a tough end to their season. It was, they didn't go as far as they usually do. They had a young team this year, and they worked hard. They really progressed well. The coaches Jeff Miller and Mary Ewer worked hard with them, and started getting them on the same page. But an unfortunate injury right before playoffs, the star player Lauren Essenpress didn't help. She fractured a bone in her ankle at a club tournament, and she was unable to play Monday night, and they lost to the Leamington Lions. The team worked hard, A for effort. So, but they're out in the quarterfinals, and again, great job by all with the senior girls volleyball program this year, and to both the senior and juniors. The teams have worked hard, teams have progressed well, and look forward to next year.
Well, that's pretty much it for a recap of the paper. A few housekeeping things. Monday is Family Day, so our office will be closed. Ron and Matt and I will not be in the office that day. So the deadline for ads will be Thursday, February 13th, so tomorrow by 4 o'clock. Also, it's coming that time. It's a new year, so there'll be a new phone book. We really like to get your changes in by the end of the month, by the end of February. So if you could send them to either myself, sales@rivertowntimes.com, or you can always email Ron too at mail@rivertowntimes.com. So if you've moved, you've changed your phone number, if you know of somebody that's no longer with us or doesn't want to be listed, could you please just reach out? We really pride ourselves on putting out a good product, and we need your help with that. So that's a big thing coming. Also, Friday is Valentine's Day, so we have a little feature in this week's paper, a few ads from people around town offering Valentine's Day specials. And we're going to have one for St. Patrick's Day, so look for that. We'll have some deadlines and some more information about that in upcoming papers. And also Friday is Terrence's birthday, the big 75, right, Terrence?
Not quite.
We just want to take a minute to shout out Terrence, wish him a happy birthday. If you happen to see Doc Morris out and about, be sure to wish him a happy birthday. And I hope the snow doesn't keep you away from your big birthday plans.
And
It won't.
No, they're staying at home on the couch. It doesn't matter what the weather's like. Eh?
And I've been tuning into the Doc Moore Show every Saturday, and I've been enjoying it. So I should have mentioned that earlier, but
Thanks, Ron.
so I do enjoy it, and make sure you tune in every Saturday.
What time on Saturdays, Terrence?
12 o'clock.
12?
So 12 noon Saturdays, make sure you tune in.
Maybe
right here on CKBG.
We should produce his show.
Yeah.
What could go wrong? What could go wrong? Was there anything else for you, Ron, that you wanted to add?
I think we're good for the week. Our drivers, Ken and Louise, are out delivering the paper out to our stops in and around Amherstburg, Essex, Harrow, and LaSalle. And so make sure if you're out and about, make sure you pick up a print edition. And again, we're online at www.rivertowntimes.com.
All right, Amherstburg, have a great day. Stay safe out there on those roads.
Have a great day. Have a great week, and see you next Wednesday.